Hey guys, it's Jamie, and today we're going to be talking everything periods, or just about everything periods, or some things related to having periods and people who have periods. Okay, some guys have periods. It's a thing. It happens, it's normal, there's nothing wrong with it. Some people might argue otherwise, but guys can have periods too. And just if anyone is confused by what I mean by that, I'm talking about trans guys, so guys who were assigned female at birth. It's very likely that at some point trans guys will be presenting as male and experience having periods. This can be a little tricky and create a few awkward situations. As it is less common and less talked about, hardly talked about, that some guys have periods, and pretty much everything period related is aimed specifically at women. Being a guy who gets periods can be kind of tricky to navigate. There can be some awkward situations and it can cause a lot of internal discomfort as well. Periods are something I've talked about on my channel before. I think it's really important to talk about it and open up a conversation about it and say that yes, some guys have periods, some women don't. Non-binary people can have periods too. It's not just something experienced by women. It has always felt like a bit of an uncomfortable topic to talk about and a bit of a taboo, and to be honest, a few years ago, I never would have imagined ever feeling comfortable enough to talk about periods in this way, but I really just want to talk about and raise awareness that some guys do have periods. And there's nothing wrong with it. Having or not having a period does not invalidate your gender identity in any way, and there are different ways of dealing with it and some advice out there that might make it just a little bit easier to handle if you're a trans guy who experiences periods. So here goes, gonna dive straight in with some different options of period management. Is management the right word? I'm not sure. Sanitary protection, that just sounds really weird. Let's go with period management. So there are different options. I'm gonna go over the four main ones that I can think of and that I know a little bit about, and it's just about finding what's right for you. First up is pads. So just little sticky things that you put in your pants. They come in either disposable or reusable forms. The disposable forms typically have a very florally scent. It's very recognizable. Every time you open a pad, it's like getting punched in the face by a bouquet of flowers. They can be good as nothing needs to be inserted, which can be a big source of dysphoria for some people, but they do need changing fairly regularly. As I said, the smell is quite distinctive and they're quite loud to change. Second up, we have tampons. Also a very common form of period management. I'm just rolling with period management. Tampons are also disposable, and some people find them easier to deal with and a little bit cleaner than pads, but they also do need changing. Not as loud to change, but they do need changing. And obviously there is the whole insertion aspect of tampons, which some people will be very uncomfortable with. Third up, a slightly less common form, but something that I've heard very good things about, are moon cups. They are like flexible little silicone cups that are inserted in and need to be washed out every 4 to 8 hours. You can just take them out, give them a rinse and pop them back in. Simpler because you won't need to change in a public bathroom. There's nothing that you need to dispose of, and because they're reusable, they are good for your pockets and the planet, but they do have the whole insertion issue the same as tampons. Finally, there are period pants such as Thinx pants. These are essentially like regular pants. They're just a bit thicker and super duper insanely absorbent. Like the absorbency powers of these pants are ridiculous. So unless you have an incredibly heavy flow, they can usually be enough to completely replace things like pads and tampons and moon cups and just be worn by themselves like regular pants. They take away the need for anything to be inserted or changed, but each pair is rather expensive and you will need to wash them out at the end of the day, and that can be a little bit uncomfortable because obviously you see some of the blood running out, and also if you're not great at doing laundry like myself, it can be a little bit tedious. But saying that, they are my personal favourite, and when I had a little revisit, revenge of the period thing several months back, I did do a review on them and I found them fantastic, so obviously I'm slightly biased in this list. Down below in the description box you will find links to both Mooncup and Thinx's website and my review I did on the Thinx pants, just in case you want to go check it out and see it for yourself. So yeah, those are the four main period management things that I can think of and that I know a little bit about. It's all really trial and error. Personally, I knew I would never be comfortable with inserting anything, so it was either pads or the pants. It took me ages to realize that pants even existed, and then I tried them and it was like, oh, this is amazing. So it's just about finding what is right for you, what works with your lifestyle, and what is easiest for you in terms of dysphoria. So yes, as well as finding your form of period management, there are also just some general tips and advice that might make the whole experience a little bit easier to deal with, that might get rid of some of the trickier things in terms of being a guy who has periods. So let's just dive straight into that list as well. Yay! First up, I would recommend carrying around some form of little nappy bag or some form of bag that you can dispose of and put things in to throw out. sorry. This is if you need to change a pad or a tampon in a public bathroom, if you use the men's public bathrooms, because they are not particularly period friendly. So it just makes it easier to have something to put your used item in, and then you can either put it in your pocket or your bag. I know, not the nicest thought, or you can just keep hold of it and discreetly put it in a bin somewhere else. Secondly, I would recommend finding a term for your cycle that isn't the word period, because I know that that can cause dysphoria for some people, and I'm really sorry that I've said it so much in this video. It would just be very difficult to avoid the word in this video. Also, please do not take a shot for every time I say the word period. But yeah, try and find a word that replaces period. It can make it a lot easier to talk about it or just think about it in your head. Let other people know what's happening in public and something, and then, you know, random people don't hear you say that you've just started your period or whatever. I have one, and it made things so much easier to have a term. I'm not going to tell you guys because then it won't be a secret. But just like any random word like penguin or pen pot or cotton bud. I don't know where cotton bud came from. Maybe not cotton bud, that's a bit weird. Number 3, boxers can be a nightmare for pad placement. So if pads are what you wear, it can be very tricky to get the right placement in boxers. I would recommend wearing a pair of tight Y-fronts if you would prefer to stick to pants from the men's section. But if you are comfortable wearing pants from the women's section, that can make it a lot easier and just hold stuff in place a bit more. And then you can wear a pair of boxers over the top. But also, if you really do want to stick with boxers, winged pads are so much easier to place, trust me. Number 4, I think it's number 4. I think this is number 4. Let's go with number 4 anyway. Number 4, try and talk to other people about it. Honestly, sharing a problem with other people makes it so much easier to deal with, whether that's a parent or a friend or maybe other people from the trans community, just sharing your experience. It can just make it easier. Number 5, remember, periods do not last forever. They are a very transient thing that just swing by and mess up your life for a few days, and then they're gone again, and until the next month, but you don't need to think about that straight away. What I'm trying to say is they are temporary. I know that those few days when it's there completely sucks, like it really does, but just try and go through the motions whilst it's there, deal with it. Don't concentrate on the fact that it's there, just remember it's going to be done soon. Point number 6 does kind of lead on from number 5 in the fact that there are things you can do to stop your period. I will admit I really don't know much about this. Testosterone does typically stop periods, but if you're pre-T and struggling, or if you don't want to go on testosterone but you want to do something about your period, there are other things out there, but I don't know much about them. Definitely recommend going to speak to your doctor though if it's something you want to look into. And finally, number 7. Having periods does not invalidate your gender identity. You are not any less of a guy because you have periods. So yeah, those are just a few tips. Hopefully they can help you guys. They're things that really helped me out when I was still experiencing periods and when it kind of had its little revenge attack. But yeah, find the right type of period item-y thingy that works for you. Think about the tips, think about things that will make you feel more comfortable about it and things that make it easier in those trickier situations. And yeah, hopefully some of that can help. If you have any tips or advice that you can think of, please leave them in the comments below to help other people out, because I do not know everything by any means. Let me know what you think, guys. Hopefully this could help you out a little bit. Social media links in the description box below, along with those links that I told you about earlier. If you like this video, think about giving it a thumbs up and subscribing, but no pressure. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Much love, guys. Bye.